Welcome back to Tequila Tales and yet another episode. We are not reviewing tequila today. Instead, we are talking about Thanksgiving Day NFL matchups. Yes, a little bit of a wrinkle today on Tequila Tales. Come right back after the short intro. I'll introduce you to my special guest and we'll get right into the picks. All right, back at Tequila Tales here, and I have a very special guest, my best friend, Kevin Kohnen, who is in Minnesota right now. And Kevin, welcome to the show, and let us know what you are drinking, because that is mandatory that we drink tequila on Tequila Tales.
Well, thanks for having me. I'd much rather be at the Hideaway there having some tequila with you, but poured myself a little añejo of Diego Santa. It's one of my kind of go-to, sipping tequilas. Figured we're doing this, let's sip some tequila.
Very cool. I myself poured a little bit. I got a long night ahead of me. I got to bring the kid to soccer practice and then to dinner in between that. Went a little lighter on it. Reposado from G4. One of my favorite reposados. Really nice. A lot of hints of pepper, butter, cinnamon, agave, oak. That's what I got right here. I'm almost done with it. I should probably pour more. Without further ado, we are just having fun with this today. And if you are looking for tequila reviews, you might want to go to the next video. If you're not and you want to be entertained, we are talking about Thanksgiving Day NFL picks. And to me, Thanksgiving Day is a day to be around family and friends and have a great time. We are blessed with 3 football games on this year's slate. We start off with an absolute barn burner of a game, and I'm going to hand it over to Big Kev himself to talk about his opinion on the Lions and the Bears. Bears are a 3.5-point favorite. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I just watched the Bears. My Ravens squeaked one out against them, and I got to say the Bears are a very different team with the Red Rocket in the pocket. It changed their offense. They were able to score, go down the field quickly. I think, as long as he has time in the pocket and Montgomery's a heck of a back, they're going to be tough to stop this Thanksgiving Day. And if I'm Detroit, what do you do? I just don't see a way for them to put up enough points. I think the 3.5 line is actually a little too low for this game. I think it should be right around 5. So I'm going to take the Bears in this one. I think Dalton throws for 2 touchdowns, 250, and Montgomery probably gets 2 touchdowns, maybe 1 in the air and 1 on the ground, and 100 yards. So I'd take the Bears. I'd pound that one at 3.5. Wow,
very thorough. And any opinion on the over-under? It's 41.5 right now.
It's the Bears and the Lions. You got to go under. You got to go under.
Okay. All right. And my take here is that this game is fortunate to be on at 12:30 Eastern time on the East Coast right here. And I say fortunate because this is the time that I'm really in the zone. I've got 2 turkeys going. I'm probably on like my 4th or 5th morning drink, maybe even 6th, getting ready for people to come in. This year I've got my mother and grandmother and about 22 other people by my last count. I will be drinking heavily, and thank God I've got stuff to do so I don't have to watch this monstrosity of a game. Detroit is lucky to have this game, and if people don't know the history, Detroit only has this game because Detroit and Dallas offered to play the Thanksgiving game when no one else wanted to. And they've been grandfathered in, and they get to keep it. And I even read something today on Pro Football Talk that they get to keep it even though they are Detroit, and they are abysmal. That being said, I've got to agree with the handicap of Kevin. Detroit is playing their backup quarterback as well. Goff is out. Not that Goff is a great quarterback when he's in. I think their only hope is that DeAndre Swift solves the Bears defense and finds some holes in it. If he does not, it's going to be a long game for Detroit. Now, I will say Detroit's been feisty in a lot of their games. Their record isn't as bad as it actually looks. They've been feisty in some games, barely lost to the Vikings, who we all know is a fantastic team, and a lot of other well-played games out there this year. But they are the Detroit Lions, and they're going to come to Thanksgiving looking to get a little bit of turkey, and I think they'll come up just short because, again, the savvy of the veteran, the Red Rocket, is the Red Rifle, rather, is in the pocket in Chicago. Bears are rumored to lose their coach after this game. Then there was a report that they're not going to lose their coach. So they might be playing for their coach, or their coach might be using every trick in the book to try to, get a little bit of good face time on TV and show people he's not as bad as it might look. So also going with the Bears, and if I had to go over under, I'd probably say under. I mean, these teams are just not fun to watch. If I'm watching a snap of this game, it's going to be a modern-day miracle because I've got people coming over, and I usually won't tune in until later. It will be on the TV, but if one of my guests changes it, unlike years past, I'm probably not going to yell at them. I'm probably going to say, yeah, that's fine. Just
I see this as it's a paper bag game. The Lions fans will have paper bags on. It's going to be embarrassing. One of the wild cards in this game, who I've seen play a little bit, I think is an exciting player, is Mooney, the wide receiver. Kid's got great route running. I think with Dalton in there, he's going to throw it a little bit more on target than Fields has been. Fields has been a little scared to put it in tight corners. So I think Mooney could have a big game as well. So it's a paper bag Sunday for Detroit.
Yep, I agree, and you couldn't have said it better. Dalton got one to Mooney last week, I believe, and they look good together. So bright spot for them is him and Montgomery, as you mentioned earlier. So enough of that. We spent way too much time on that just because they are the Bears and the Lions, but we had to. There's only 3 games. So everybody take the Bears and thank us both later. Moving on, for me, probably the marquee game of the day is the Dallas Cowboys laying 8 points against the Las Vegas Raiders. Go ahead, Kevin.
So this game is interesting. Dallas came off of kind of a 1-2 gut punch last week against Kansas City, with obviously Cooper out and CD getting the concussion. I think that really kind of threw off their game plan and what they've been kind of looking to do and achieve. I think they go back to ground and pound this one. I think Zeke, he's going to be feasting this Thanksgiving. It's home for Dallas. Dallas is, I think, 4-1 right now at home. They're pretty much unstoppable there. They're a good squad. I think they show up on this one. 8 points, I think, is a little bit much, just because I think the Raiders with Carr, I think he's going to try to keep it close. He's going to manage the game. If you've watched the Raiders, every game they've lost for the most part, they've made just dumb mistakes. I think the Cowboys are going to, continue to ground, eat the clock up. But I think 8 points is a little too much to give the Cowboys on this one. So I would take the Raiders on the back door with this one. I look for probably some good play out of their tight end. Darrell Waller, to me, looks like he's probably the reason why the Raiders get this backdoor cover. That guy's a beast. I think, in my opinion, he's a top 3, top 4 tight end in the NFL. My Ravens cut him off the practice squad, and ever since he's made us pay. So I think the Raiders here in this one, 8 points is a little too much. I would take the Raiders.
Interesting take. Mine's going to be very simple, and it's going to be a little bit contrarian to the way people handicap football games. I'm looking at this as Thanksgiving Day, tradition, family. Jerry Jones has been old enough to be my grandfather since I was born. So I consider Jerry kind of like family. And when you look at family, Vegas is anything but a family. They just moved there a couple of years ago. They're still settling in. They just lost their coach, which is a whole crazy story. They lost their number 1 2020 draft pick, wide receiver, in a very tragic accident and a very tragic story all around in Henry Ruggs. And then they cut a guy who puts an obscene video on the internet and talks about threatening people in Arnett, their cornerback. That, to me, just isn't a well-knit family, and Thanksgiving is about family. You got the Cowboys, you're on TV every single week in primetime, always on TV. They're on Thanksgiving every single year. No matter if they're a dumpster fire or they're a team, everybody knows the Cowboys. Everybody roots for them. I think the Cowboys get up big. They're going to feed Zeke. They're going to feed Pollard. CD is going to get one of them turkey legs when the game's over. CD, Dak, and probably Micah Parsons. I've been getting who those 2 guys are in there eating. Zeke might be in there too, but he shares a lot of carries with Pollard, who looks great this year. I'm taking the Cowboys, and I'm taking them by a minimum of 13 points. I think that they destroy the 8 and they go 13 to 24 points on this win. They might not stop. It's a statement game. They just dropped one to the Chiefs that a lot of people thought they would win. It's time for them to get back in the saddle and show everybody it's not Tampa, it's not the Rams, that they're the ones at the top of the NFC. And let's just get into the over-under in that one. It's an interesting one at 50.5. A lot of offense being predicted. You think it's going to go that way?
I would say if my last name was Corcoran, I'd be pounding the over on this one.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's gonna be enough points scored by the Cowboys alone. I think the Raiders probably get it into the low 20s. So I think, again, it's going to be close. The Raiders might put up 28, which would probably, take your side pick out of it. But I think there's definitely going over 50.5.
Yeah, and I think right there you're banking on the backdoor cover with Vegas there, which, we've all been on the bad end of a backdoor bad beat with Vegas before. We've all been to the table. So We're on differing sides there, so bet as you like, people. The last game is an interesting one as well. The night game, if you are awake and you're not passed out, especially for us on the East Coast that start a little earlier and, go hard with the tequila all day long. It is the Bills against the New Orleans Saints. Bills 5.5.
Well, this one I think is a must-win game, and I hate to say in Week 12 there's a must-win game, but the Bills have been Jekyll and Hyde this year. They've been all over the place, beating good teams, losing to bad teams. I think last week was embarrassing for them to lose. So this week I'm going to have to rely on the legs of Josh Allen and the arm of Josh Allen to carry the Bills here. I think that they definitely cover. I think the other, again, I'm going to be making Tim's famous jalapeno-infused tequila-infused jalapeno turkey. It's wild. I smoke it. It's 12 pounds. Takes me 12 hours. I'm going to be at least a bottle of tequila in. I'm looking forward to watching this game. So when that turkey comes out, I'll be ready to sit down and watch. And even after all that tequila, the Bills could be drinking it, and they're still going to have a stiff D. I really think they hold the Saints to minimal points, probably 13 or less. If I was kind of going to handicap this game here, I'd say probably Bills 28, Saints 13.
Got it. And for me, I'm on the same side. I like the Bills, and the Bills, like you said, have been Jekyll and Hyde this year. I think last week's abysmal performance against the Colts is a wake-up call, and they need to figure this out and say, okay, now we're actually needing to be worried about the Patriots this year in our division because they're over-exceeding everyone's expectations except maybe their own, of course, but they're playing great. And if they don't watch out, they're going to zoom past them. Like you said, Josh Allen, key component. The running game, I think, is going to be big too. And they've got to get Diggs going early and often, involve Dawson Knox and the other guys in their receiving core. I think the Bills bounce back in a major way. And I say that New Orleans is a hard team to look at. They got a great D. They were on a nice run where their defense was playing insane. I actually had them in fantasy for a couple weeks, and then they got banged up and beat and went on bye, and I had to change them out, and I didn't get them back, which sucks. They're hard to figure out. They've had quarterback issues due to injury. Kamara was out the last couple weeks. I believe he is playing this week.
He's questionable right now. Yeah.
Questionable. Okay. Even if he's playing or not, I just think if the Bills key in on him, they've got this game handily. I'm taking the Bills minus 5.5. I would take the over. I'm not playing it personally, but I would take the over 46. I just think the Bills get to 31, and I think, a 17 on the other end would be probably a fair number to give New Orleans. That's my handicap. I'm guaranteeing, by the way, that I'm going 2-1 on this card. Or if not, on the next video where we handicap games, I'm taking out my Vidor wooden board and filling up all 5 shots and doing them before I get into the pick segment. So that's what I'm putting myself on the line. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on me to make sure I pick well. I spent 14 minutes on these breakdowns, so I'm pretty confident that that's a lot of time that's going to be well spent.
Yeah, I think if my lock of the week this week is Bills minus 5.5, that would be my lead pipe lock.
Lead pipe lock is the Bills. I'm on the Bills as well. We're going to recap the picks on an image in the closing of this video. So thanks for watching, and comment below, subscribe. Let us know if you like it. Let us know if you agree with our picks. Let us know if they're trash. We're going to close with my little godson, Mac. Give us some words of encouragement for Thursday's Thanksgiving Day.
What do you think about Thanksgiving in football? Who do you like, Mac? Bears or Lions? Bears. Mac says Bears. Raiders, Cowboys? Cowboys.
Okay.
Bills, Saints? Bills. Okay,
right.
You heard it here. Mac says Bears, Cowboys, Bills.
Mac, you're with me on all those picks. We're going to put that in the description here. Thank you for your submissions and your awesome handicapping. Before we close, what happened to your eye?
I wrestled a bear named Lefty.
Okay. So anyone watching at home, make sure you don't do that or you could get a black eye.
I already have one.
And now we've got Keely, we've got 3 football games for you to break down. We've got bonus capping, you guys. That's what we do here.
Wait, Dad, let me say.
Who
do you think would win? Bears or Lions? Bears.
Raiders,
Cowboys. Raiders.
Okay.
Cowboys.
Bills, Saints. Bill.
Saints.
Saints. She's going Saints.
All right.
Okay.
You got one to see my screen.
And that is this week's episode of Tequila Tales.
It says nuts
Thanks
and
to everybody who
jerky.
joined us, especially Shouting Mac with the black eye. We'll see how everyone's picks came, and we'll see if we invite them on another show. Keely, good luck to you. Kevin, thanks for being on and your awesome breakdowns.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving.
All right, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Okay.
Es el tiempo para empezar mi plan. Finalmente tengo la oportunidad. Tengo fe.
Subscribe down below or else I'm gonna give you a black eye like I do.